In a distant corner of the galaxy, humanity had come a long way from its humble beginnings on Earth. Over decades, they had worked hard to build alliances with alien civilizations, sharing knowledge and resources. Among these allies were the Zorathians, a species known for their advanced technology and sharp minds. Together, they formed what seemed like an unbreakable bond of partnership, meant to bring peace and prosperity to both sides. But not everything was as it appeared. Unknown to humanity, the Zorathians had grown uneasy. They watched as humanity's fleet grew stronger, faster, and more adaptable. What started as admiration slowly turned into fear. The Zorathians began to see humanity's progress as a threat to their dominance. Instead of addressing their concerns openly, they chose a darker path. Behind closed doors, they plotted to weaken humanity before it could become too powerful. One fateful night, the betrayal unfolded. Dozens of human colonies along the outer rim were ambushed by cloaked ships that left no trace of their identity. Entire settlements were wiped out in mere moments. Families, workers, scientists, all gone in the blink of an eye. When news of the attacks reached Earth, shock quickly turned into outrage. Survivors spoke of sudden, merciless assaults that gave them no chance to fight back or escape. It didn't take long for investigators to piece together the truth. The weapons used in the attacks matched those developed exclusively by the Zorathians. The revelation hit humanity like a storm. Leaders gathered for an emergency summit to decide the next steps. Some argued for immediate retaliation, while others urged caution, knowing that war would come at a heavy cost. But patience wore thin when further evidence revealed the true depth of the betrayal. The attacks weren't random. They were part of a larger plan. The Zorathians had targeted key outposts to weaken humanity's defenses, paving the way for a full-scale invasion. They had underestimated one crucial thing: human resilience. As word spread across human space, anger turned into action. Fleets stationed near neutral zones were recalled, and shipyards worked around the clock to prepare for battle. Engineers retrofitted older vessels with cutting-edge technology, ensuring every ship was ready for combat. Soldiers trained tirelessly, fueled by the memory of those who had been lost. Despite the odds, there was unity among humanity. People from all walks of life came together, determined to protect their homes and hold the betrayers accountable. Preparations took time, but when they were complete, humanity stood ready, not just to defend itself, but to strike back. This wasn't about revenge alone. It was about justice. The Zorathians had made a grave mistake by underestimating the strength of the human spirit. With engines roaring and weapons primed, the first wave of humanity's mighty fleet set course toward Zorathian territory. The galaxy held its breath, knowing that this confrontation would change everything. What happened next would go down in history as a testament to humanity's courage and determination. But for now, the stage was set. Humanity had risen from the ashes of betrayal, ready to face the enemy head-on. The Zorathians had awakened a force they could never have anticipated. And soon, they would learn just how dangerous humanity could be. When humanity's fleet arrived at the edge of Zorathian-controlled space, it was a sight that sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Ships of all sizes stretched across the void, forming an armada that seemed to defy the imagination. Each vessel carried not only advanced weaponry, but also the weight of countless lives lost during the betrayal. There would be no negotiations this time, no second chances. Humanity had come to settle the score, and nothing would stand in their way. The first engagement took place near a remote asteroid field where Zorathian patrols were stationed. Unprepared for the sheer ferocity of the attack, the defenders scrambled to mount a defense. But humanity's forces operated with precision and purpose, exploiting every weakness in the Zorathian formation. Stealth drones infiltrated enemy lines, disabling key systems before retreating into the void. Meanwhile, long-range artillery pounded command ships, severing communication links and sowing confusion among the ranks. Within hours, the once dominant Zorathian patrol lay in ruins, their survivors fleeing deeper into their territory. Word of the defeat reached the Zorathian homeworld, sparking panic within their government. Leaders who had championed the betrayal now faced the consequences of their actions. Emergency broadcasts pleaded for reinforcements from allied factions, but none came. Other species watched silently, unwilling to involve themselves in what they saw as a self-inflicted disaster. Isolated and desperate, the Zorathians braced for the inevitable assault on their capital. The final battle unfolded above the skies of the Zorathian homeworld, a spectacle of fire and fury that illuminated the planet below. Humanity's fleet unleashed everything it had, overwhelming the defenders with relentless barrages. Key installations were targeted and destroyed, crippling the Zorathians' ability to wage war. Despite their superior numbers, the Zorathians found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Humanity's adaptability proved too much for their rigid strategies, turning what should have been a decisive victory into a catastrophic rout as the dust settled. The remnants of the Zorathian fleet surrendered unconditionally. Their leaders, stripped of power and dignity, were brought before a tribunal convened by humanity and other neutral parties. The verdict was swift and harsh: reparations, demilitarization, and permanent oversight to ensure such treachery could never happen again. For humanity, the victory was bittersweet. The scars of betrayal ran deep, serving as a grim reminder of the fragility of trust in the cosmos. Yet, the triumph also marked a turning point. No longer seen as mere participants in galactic affairs, humanity emerged as a force to be reckoned with, a civilization capable of both compassion and retribution. As their fleet returned home, victorious yet weary, the galaxy watched closely, wondering what the future held for a species that refused to bow. Even in the face of betrayal, the lessons learned from the conflict lingered long after the fighting ended. Humanity knew they couldn't afford to let their guard down again. They invested heavily in strengthening alliances with other trustworthy species, while keeping a watchful eye on potential threats. The betrayal by the Zorathians had taught them that peace required vigilance, and trust needed to be earned, not given freely. Back on Earth and across human colonies, life slowly began to return to normal. Memorials were built to honor those who had been lost, ensuring their sacrifices would never be forgotten. Stories of bravery and resilience spread far and wide, inspiring future generations to carry the torch of unity and determination. Humanity had faced its darkest hour and emerged stronger than ever, proving that even in the vastness of space, the human spirit could shine brightly as the galaxy moved forward. One thing became clear: humanity's reaction to betrayal had rewritten the rules of interstellar diplomacy. The Zorathians' downfall served as a warning to others: underestimate humanity at your own peril. And though the wounds of the past might fade with time, the memory of what humanity had achieved would endure forever, etched into the stars themselves.